Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I am talking about the whole month of January in WWE leading up to the Royal Rumble. I am super excited for the Royal Rumble. It's going to be so weird, but I am hopeful that there's some really interesting stuff that's going to happen, especially the kind of stuff that they couldn't do with a live audience. And I know a lot of people are down about that aspect of it, that it's not really a Royal Rumble without you need a live audience for this. Well, maybe, just maybe, they'll do something that they couldn't ever do before, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll find out, but I'm excited to find out what happens. So, before I get to the Royal Rumble itself, I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that I've really liked this month. I have top 3 matches, must-see matches from this month that you've got to go check out. First of all, you got to go and seek out Walter versus A-Kid. Fantastic match on a recent episode of NXT UK. Go check that out. Also, all of New Year's Evil was awesome. I loved everything that happened on there. Let's see, just a quick review. None of this really plays into... Oh, what the heck? They didn't include... Oh, New Year... That's right. It's not a pay-per-view, so it's not a... Okay, so NXT New Year's Evil. I have to remember exactly what happened on there. Okay, so we had Karrion Kross versus Damian Priest. That was all right. And then we had Santos Escobar versus Gran Metalik. Both of them are awesome. Great match. Xia Li versus Katrina Cortez. Xia won. And this was her debut with Boa as their new faction that they've been training for weeks. So that was really cool. We had Raquel Gonzalez versus Rhea Ripley. And Raquel won. Rhea, I don't think we've really seen her since then. And so I think there's a good chance that Rhea is one of the few women from NXT that will be in the Rumble. It would be really cool if she wins. But I'll get to who I am rooting for the most in just a little bit here. And then we had Kushida and Shotzi Blackheart team up in a surprise mixed gender match with against The Way. Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. Austin Theory and Indy Hartwell were also there. And I forget all went down. I just remember it was really, really, really fun. And also Austin Theory got hit in the crotch with a missile from Shotzi's tank. It was great. And then we had Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly, which was very, very good. It was pretty great. Another notable match. So yeah, go watch this episode. It was from January 6th. Great. But another great match that was supposed to happen on this night, and it turns out it was probably a great thing that it was moved because it had its own episode, basically, was the Fight Pit. The Fight Pit between Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, which led into some changes for the Dusty Classic. Now we're in the midst of the Dusty Classic now. Almost, I think all of the first round matches are complete. And there's some surprises that have happened. The whole first round, my predictions held strong. But then everything blew up in the second round. And it's like, oh, well, or it was even before the first round. But the first 2 episodes of matches, it's like, oh, I nailed it. Not so much after that. Everything completely changed. But Dusty Classic, my picks to win are Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, who ended up teaming up after the Fight Pit. And yeah, some of the matches have been taking place on 205 Live, so it's a great time to tune into 205 Live. It's always a great time to tune into 205 Live. That's a really hard sentence to say. And then we also have the Women's Dusty Classic, the first ever Women's Dusty Classic. And I think it's going to be. It's tough to say. I'm rooting for Ember and Shotzi, but also just as likely to win, I feel like, are Dakota Kai and Raquel, or Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. So there's 3 out of the 8 teams that I think could absolutely win it. But that tournament has been really great too. Casey Catanzaro versus Caden Carter, pretty awesome. I think that was my favorite match so far in the Women's Dusty Classic. All right, so a couple of other matches that you have to check out. Sasha Banks versus Carmella's Sommelier, Reginald. Super awesome match. Really, really fun. Another classic, I think it was from that same night, was Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro. Fantastic. Go and watch that match. It was on that episode of SmackDown. So good. And really everything that Cesaro has been doing in the last couple of weeks. He's my number 1 pick for the Royal Rumble. I'm just going to jump straight ahead to that for a moment. Say, Cesaro winning the Royal Rumble would be fantastic. We'll see. And then there's another match that I did want to mention, but maybe it's not worth mentioning as much because I can't remember. Bayley versus Bianca, just from last night, or from on Friday night. I'm recording this on the morning of the Royal Rumble. That match is really great as well. So those are my must-see episodes and matches of this month. Also, anything to do with Firefly Funhouse, Alexa Bliss, The Fiend, Randy Orton, all of that has been awesome. It's basically been the number 1 thing that I look forward to on Raw every week. The rest of Raw, I don't even remember. Nothing I mentioned, none of the other stuff that I mentioned was from Raw. All that was from NXT and SmackDown and NXT UK, because I can't remember. Nothing else really stands out to me that much. Because Firefly Funhouse stuff is just so great. But anyway, let's get to talking about the Royal Rumble and the matches. And there's some title matches that are happening in addition to the Rumble matches. Let's talk about those first. Sasha Banks versus Carmella with Reginald. Singles match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I think absolutely Sasha Banks retains here. But it should be a pretty fun match. Asuka and Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax and Shayna Basler for the tag team titles. That's right, Charlotte Flair is back. She made her return at TLC. Well, I did talk about that because I did do, and that happened before the end of the year. But this match, it should be all right. I think Asuka and Charlotte will win. If they don't, it's got to be some type of lead up to Charlotte's going after Asuka's Raw Championship, and I've kind of resigned myself to maybe the most likely result of the Royal Rumble match is that Charlotte Flair wins and challenges Asuka, but we'll see how that goes. We have Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg. I've also resigned myself to the fact that Goldberg may win, and whether or not he wins, that there's also a good chance that he enters the men's Royal Rumble and wins that. And so the darkest timeline, I've accepted the fates of the darkest timelines. And if something different happens from either of those things, then I will be pleased. Then we have Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens in a last man standing match for the Universal Championship. This should be pretty epic. It's gonna be a good one. But I think it all depends on if Everrise comes to get Kevin Owens' back, which could be pretty cool if they do. A great introduction for them in the SmackDown universe. He was wearing one of their shirts on their interview on Friday, or their shirt. I don't know if they have multiple shirts. I think they just have that one shirt. So now let's get that. That brings us to the Royal Rumble matches. I thought this episode would be a lot longer by this point. So first, I just want to go over my simulation results. So I play over on twitch.tv/the Demon Jackal, 30 accounts of WWE Supercard, often at the same time. Sometimes just one at a time, sometimes just smaller groups of those 30. But because I realized there were 30 accounts, that's the same number of people as in the Royal Rumble match. So I set the portraits for each of the accounts to who I thought there are 21 people who are officially announced to be in the match. But there is a so I speculated on the remaining 9. The 9 that I added on to the 21 already were Robert Roode. Let's see if I can remember this. It doesn't really matter who else I added onto there. I added Robert Roode, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Wade Barrett, which would be awesome. Booker T is his song. There's the Bad Bunny song called Booker T is like a big thing that's going to be performed live here. So why not have him perform it for Booker T's entrance into the Rumble? That'd be perfect. But a couple other people added in there. But the results were I was just playing the game as normal, and whenever there's a draft board where you pick cards off of it, and if you get a good card or an uncommon or better card, not necessarily a good card, but when you reset the draft board, when you pick a certain type of card, that I considered an elimination. So as each account reset their draft boards, they were eliminated one by one, sometimes 3 at a time, sometimes 5 at a time. But the end result was The Miz as the winner of the Royal Rumble match. So that's just for my supercard prediction simulation thing. Just pure fun for that. But go check out the replay of the first hour of that stream, if you wanna see how it went down. But that's not my pick. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if that happened. But I think, well, like I said, I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that either Goldberg or Brock Lesnar would win. So there's that. That dark possibility. But it would be awesome if Edge was able to win. It would be there's so many participants. Let's just go down the list. Daniel Bryan, absolutely. He should win. Bobby Lashley, he doesn't need the win. He's out of there. AJ Styles, it'd be awesome if he won, because he hasn't won a Royal Rumble match. Randy Orton, it'd be great if he won. And he will be the number 1 entrant. Edge, it'd be amazing if he won. He would be the number 2 entrant. Now, here's my prediction, my kind of hopes, as far as the stuff that they couldn't do with a live audience, is that I think that Randy and Edge will end up brawling outside of the ring, so they're not technically eliminated, but they'll end up fighting throughout the entire match around the arena and then end up back in the ring at the end of the match or towards the end of it. Whether one of them actually wins, I think, will be determined by the Fiend's involvement, and we don't know what the Fiend looks like now. We've been told that he's scarier, he's turned into something else, and that could be pretty awesome if that change is revealed in this pay-per-view. But the main thing is, I think Randy and Edge opening up the night as the first 2 entrants, that there's a possibility that they could spend the entire they could be in the entire match, but not actually be in the ring, and just brawling all around the arena as kind of some repeats of like their ambulance match and the greatest match of all time or whatever it's called, all of that. But it would be really cool if Edge won and then goes after Drew McIntyre for the championship, or Goldberg. I guess I don't know. Make it a triple threat: Goldberg versus Edge versus Roman, triple spears. Anyway, Otis will be in there. He's not going to win. The Miz, I don't think he'll win. Jey Uso, nah. But Cesaro, he's my number one pick. I would absolutely love it if Cesaro won. Jeff Hardy, I don't think has a chance. Sami Zayn, nah. Dolph Ziggler, no way. Shinsuke Nakamura, now. This just under Cesaro is for who I'm rooting for. It would be awesome if he was a 2-time Royal Rumble winner, and then this time was able to successfully challenge for the championship. But also announced on that same night was Big E. It would be amazing if he won the Royal Rumble and challenged Roman Reigns, or Kevin Owens. No, he'd be challenging Roman Reigns. Kevin's not going to win. It's going to be a great match, but Roman Reigns is going to win. Then we had John Morrison, Sheamus, Mustafa Ali. Those three, they're not going to win. I can see Mustafa Ali winning in the Elimination Chamber match for an opportunity to challenge. But that would assume that the winner would be Cesaro because he's on SmackDown. I guess it wouldn't have to be somebody from SmackDown to win, but whoever wins it would have to challenge Roman Reigns. But then we have Edge. I already talked about him. King Corbin, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, and so those three, I don't think that any of them will win, but it will be fun to watch them all. And then we have Braun Strowman, who made his return on Friday, and I forgot about him. And hopefully he gets eliminated pretty quickly whenever he enters. I don't want him to win it. But yeah, there we go. Nobody I really want to win except for Cesaro. Though then there's people who have not been announced. Like I said, Goldberg, good chance that he could be in there. He's there already. Brock Lesnar, maybe. I don't know. Some other returns like I was talking about. But I think Goldberg would be the most likely, or Brock would be the most likely to win of people who were not announced that could end up in there. Kevin Owens, he could absolutely end up being in the Royal Rumble match after winning or losing his match. He would. I don't see Kevin Owens entering it after having won the Universal Championship, but we'll see. Stranger things have happened, and stranger things will happen, I'm sure. Then over on the women's side, we've only had like 12 people announce their entry. Or let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. Nia Jax, nah. Charlotte Flair, probably. Bianca Belair, my number one pick. Bayley, maybe. Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Peyton Royce, probably not. But maybe. But probably not. Shayna Basler, possibly. She's the most credible alongside Bianca Belair, both with 8 eliminations last year, I believe, if I remember correctly. Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Tamina, and Natalya. Unfortunately, none of them. I don't think any of them will win. So that leaves like there's 17 spots that we don't know who it will be. Will there be a lot of people from NXT? Some other people who have not been announced in there are Billie Kay. She could totally be in there. And I skipped over this one because even though I'm rooting for Bianca Belair and I resigned myself to Charlotte Flair winning, Alexa Bliss, we cannot discount Alexa Bliss's fiend powers. That she's gonna come in and mess everybody up and then go after Asuka. Um, but some people who are not on this list, like I said, Billy Kay. I think she's definitely going to be in there. Let's see who else. I can't remember. I can't remember anybody else at all. Rhea Ripley, I think, will probably be in there. There's a lot of NXT people that I would love to see, but it's hard to say. I don't think I was talking about this on the stream on my stream last night. I don't think anybody who's in the Dusty Classic will end up in either of the Rumbles. I would not be surprised at all if nobody from NXT was on the Men's Royal Rumble match. Um, And then on the women's side, they don't have 30, but I'm sure we'll see some legends like Beth Phoenix. Maybe Mickey James will be in there. And why can't I think of anybody else? Trish or Lita could be in there, maybe, but maybe not. But there's also some returns that could happen. Less likely, Becky Lynch. More likely, I think, and it would also I would be pretty excited if this happened because she made her initial debut after the Royal Rumble match in 2018. But Ronda returned and won the match. I think that would be pretty exciting. We could get Ronda versus Asuka, but yeah, I can't think of anybody else who might be. I can't think of anybody else who would be a big surprise, a big exciting surprise. Um, Eva Marie, she might enter at number 29. We do know that Natalia is number 30. So now all the pressure is on number 29 to be a great surprise because we'll at once after 28 comes out, we know who the last person is, but we don't know who the second to last person is, and then that could be the big exciting thing, kind of sort of thing. Um, but it's gonna be really fun. I'm looking forward to any pre-tape type stuff. Like I said, I think Edge and Randy is going to be a big part of that, and then that could cross over a lot into the Fiend type stuff. And then Alexa's participation in the women's match absolutely is going to have some crazy stuff happen. So there you go. I'm really excited. It's been different not recording as much as possible. Um, Talking about and taking notes on every show and going over everything and all of that. It's been kind of nice just enjoying watching and catching up on some other stuff and not worrying about having to talk about it and everything. And I think keep this going at least for another month. But next month we have some awesome things. We have Elimination Chamber, I believe, is happening towards the end of the month, and in just 2 weeks we have Takeover on Valentine's Day, and that's going to be pretty awesome. We already have Io Shirai versus Tony Storm versus Mercedes Martinez, a triple threat match for the women's championship that's going to happen, and that's going to be great. Oh, also, there's a fatal four way tag team elimination match on NXT UK this past week that was really good, especially when it came down to the last two teams. When it was just it became a regular tag team match. That whole part of there's some great stuff that happened before that, but then it got focused down on those two teams. I can tell you which two teams it was. But everything from then on was pretty great. So I'd recommend checking that out as well. I'm just trying to think of what other surprise um, entrance into the women's Rumble match could be. I don't know, I already said Beth. Beth is she's got to be in that match. Maybe I don't know. I think, and I can't think of who from NXT. Xia Li, maybe could be in there. Maybe that's why we didn't see her this past week. They wanted to keep everyone safe as much as possible. So we might look at who appeared and who didn't in the last week or two on NXT. And if we haven't seen somebody in particular, then there may be a good chance that they will be in the match. But that's as much speculation as I'm going to do. Diving much deeper into it, there could be legitimate spoilers of any surprise entrants and stuff like that. It seemed like some things have been posted, maybe, and all that kind of thing. So be careful out there with searching for stuff, so you don't stumble upon any spoilers. But yeah, there you go. That's my thoughts on the month of January. And I'll be back. Maybe I'll do 2 episodes. Maybe I'll do an episode. I think I should absolutely do a review episode of the Royal Rumble. So I'll do that in the next 24 hours. But other than that, I think I'll just do an episode for the Elimination Chamber and for Takeover Valentine's Day or whatever it's going to be called. So let me know what you thought and what you think of the Royal Rumble and everything else this month by tweet. Oh, the best thing, the coolest thing that happened, I thought on Raw anyway, was that we had a championship match this past week, Asuka versus Alexa Bliss, and it was interrupted by the Fiend, or not the Fiend. Well, there's some Fiend stuff that happened, but then Randy Orton, as Alexa was about to win, Randy Orton appeared and RKO'd Alexa Bliss, presumably a disqualification, but the title did not change hands. But the Fiend has got to be pretty mad about that, or at least Alexa herself is going to be pretty mad about that. So there you go. Maybe she'll hit a Twisted Bliss on Randy during the men's match. That would be pretty awesome. So anyway, yeah, that's it. Everybody have let me know what you thought by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe, healthy, and happy out there in all the infinite multiverses. And I will see you next time here on TIW Podcast. I remembered all that. It's been a month since I said all those things. All right, that's it. Goodbye.